Hercules. I lost Hercules again. I can see it's in his eyes. He can't act anymore, and so he begins to improvise. And all the hidden tears and cries he spent his life trying so hard to disguise, that it didn't matter how hard he tries, the world was only there to chastise. The man who couldn't be a man that complies, that he must be so strong and use anger to devise, just another lost boy who doesn't run away but flies, who jumps through the window in the hope they may defy, saying their final goodbye. That this world had not given Hercules the narrative he needed, and so instead at night he pleaded that this disease he had would somehow be defeated, and every time he closed his eyes his mind was stampeded with all the times he never succeeded, that he could never be the man that was asked of him. But it was never on his... that it was Hercules' mind that became his strongest limb, but it was never on his side and changed with a whim. That life had become so dull and so dim, and his body began to slow, and with panicked legs he forgot how to swim. He blamed himself for not being him, that he wished to be more muscular and not so slim, that he didn't know how to be a provider, that the gender gap was too much of a divider, that being a man is to be alone amongst friends, all fighting for happiness in a gender that pretends. So drinking and fighting became just a form of destruction, because masculinity is in another real, unrealistic construction. So outdated he becomes outcast, that each relationship he had would never last, and he looked back over his childhood and his past, and he was never taught how to be sad. That that's not what it means to be a lad, that his tears were never to be accepted by his dad, so the only emotion he could choose was to be mad. So angry with a world that had no answers to be found, that all his loved ones never stuck around, because he didn't know what it meant to be free. Free to be the person he needed to be, free to cry and share his plans to die, and all those times alone when he thought he'd try. There is no shame. There is no shame. There is no shame. He was never to blame for losing a losing game. What a world to impose these rules on our men, that it is no wonder suicide keeps taking them over and over again. So this is to all the men that feel at their brink, that the world's hands are ready to stop the thoughts that make you sink, that masculinity needs a real good rethink. That no man should be so scared to lose face, that this society needs to rid these ideas of disgrace, and each man and boy shouldn't feel alone. So make sure, when you give your mates a phone, that they aren't saying they're skint just to isolate themselves alone. Don't be another at the funeral gasping for not having known that Hercules lays before us should have been shown. Hercules, you aren't a god from above. You are a human on earth that needs to be loved. Thank you.